Hello and welcome to WJTS in.form. Joining me in the studio is Jan Dougan. Jan is the Extension Educator for Du Bois County through Purdue Extension. And Jan, welcome to the show. We're going to talk about feeding kids, and I guess there's a lot of different avenues we can take with feeding children.
Yes, and we want to share some information with parents, caregivers, grandparents who are out there watching this evening about feeding your child, and some important research that has shared with us some ideas or thoughts that we want to share with everybody and make sure everyone understands. So Bill, what do you think is the most important influential factor in getting kids to eat right or eat better?
I would say that is the role models, the mentors, the parents who are part of that.
You are absolutely right that each parent, each grandparent, each adult in a young child's life has the most influence on the foods that they choose to eat, how they choose to eat, and whether they choose healthier foods or not. Some of the research that I've looked at shows that it may take 16 times to introduce broccoli to a child before they decide, yeah, I think I'll taste that broccoli and I'm going to like that broccoli.
That's why I never liked broccoli till I was 30 years old, maybe. It took that long for my mother to get me to eat it.
And it could be the way that it's prepared. It could be, you know, we all have taste buds. Our taste buds change constantly. It might be something that a child will never like. But if we keep offering that broccoli to the child in a non-threatening way and just having it there and making it available and not giving up, there's a very good chance that they will try it and they may like it. So, you know, we as parents, grandparents, we need to be aware of the things that we're doing in front of kids because they're watching us and they're like little copycats. They're going to mimic what we do. So if I give a child broccoli to eat, but I choose to eat potato chips, what message am I giving to that child? Mm-hmm. And they're looking at me thinking, wow, I maybe want what she has rather than what she gave me to eat. So it's really important to offer children healthy foods and to role model that and eat healthy foods ourselves. So that's one of the most important things we can do is show children how to eat right by example.
So we probably should be thinking about feeding our children. We're feeding them the food, but we're also feeding their minds on how to eat and how to eat mindfully.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And so when we talk about families eating together at the family table, that's really important. That's a great place for kids to learn. I know families are stressed today. I know families are busy, but if you can carve out some time, whether it's breakfast or dinner, that you actually sit down as a family and eat together. The research shows us that as children grow and get into those teen years where they are considering more risky behaviors, there's less chance of them making that choice or that decision if they've had family meals together. Because as we have family meals together, we build family. We build family values. We build family conversation. We share with each other. We get to know each other better. We teach our children manners. We teach our children how to have conversation. It's just a really important time. So to carve that time out in the family day is really critical. And if you can't do it in the evening, you know, getting everybody up in the morning so that everybody can actually do breakfast together. And it doesn't, when we talk about family meals, you know, we're not talking about the huge family meal. It's not so much what we eat, but the fact that we're eating healthier foods, but eating together. So having that bowl of cereal in the morning together is the important thing. So we want to try to encourage families to do that.
If families are together around a table, sometimes it's hard to get the kids to talk to you because you may be asking the wrong questions. You know, how was school today? You're probably going to get the answer, you know, it's okay. But there's better questions to ask, get that conversation going.
Right, so rather than asking how was school today, you might want to ask your child, what was the coolest thing you learned at school today? And that really gets the children thinking and really focused on figuring out what that was and sharing that with the family, and then digging deeper in that. And so, you know, the coolest thing that they learned at school today was fractions, about fractions. You know, you might have a conversation about fractions or talk about fractions at the dinner table. I mean, there's so many different ways that we can encourage our children to have conversation, encourage our children to learn, and in an informal way.
Now, do you need to be doing this every night or every day? Do you need to eat together?
Actually, 3 to 4 times a week would be helpful.
It's probably good to have like a family tradition that on Sunday at noon we have a family meal for sure.
Well, that's sort of like a SMART goal, isn't it? So it's a specific time that you're going to get together. You plan to do it. It's a realistic thing that the family can do. And so then you're going to make it happen if you make that as your family goal, is to have it every Sunday.
Now, when feeding kids, it can be very difficult because kids are finicky, or so they say. But there's so much more variety for kids now. What are some foods that kids should be eating?
Kids should be eating the same kinds of foods we as adults should be eating. When we talk about My Plate, and we talk about the grain foods, kids should be getting more whole grains. When we talk about fruits and vegetables, they should be filling half their plate with fruits and vegetables. They should be definitely getting their dairy to build strong bones, so that could be milk or yogurt or cheese. And then they need to be getting a source of protein. So protein could be beans, could be chicken, could be fish. You know, there are different sources of protein that we can get, and they should have a little of each of those at most meals, or by the end of the day have specific, and first there are specific recommendations for different age groups. And if you are wanting to know that information for the age of your child, you can go to myplate.gov, and they have there the specific serving sizes for children and how much they should be eating. Because it does change as we age. Our caloric needs change depending on how active your child is. We want kids to be active, but that would make a difference on how many calories they could have and the different foods that they'd need to eat.
What about snacking? You know, kids need to snack. Snacking's not bad for kids, but you got to choose the right snacks.
Snacking is really important because depending upon the age of the child, the size of the stomach is very small. And then if they're an active child, you know, they get hungry. So, you know, we need to put healthy choices out there in front of them for snacking. So having those things available has proven to me that kids will eat them if they're available. So if you have washed apples ready to go, if you have washed clementines ready to go, if you have celery and carrots cut up in the refrigerator and all they have to do is take them out and eat them, those are the quick things that they'll go to and they'll eat if they're prepared and ready and accessible for the child.
You brought up the carrots, and you know, I remember when I was a kid, I don't ever remember seeing baby carrots. When you bought carrots, you bought the carrots. So you really didn't eat carrots great as a snack because it was a lot of trouble. But now there are so many foods that are available to eat as adults or for kids that it's easier and the variety is bigger.
Yes, that's true. And one parent recommendation that was successful that I read about was that they created Tupperware boxes for their kids, and they had the different snacks already prepared that they liked and washed in the refrigerator. So, you know, if Johnny has his snack box that's in the refrigerator and the carrots are in there, maybe the washed apples are in there, maybe there's cheese sticks in there, and then also have other dry snacks that are available within reach of the child so that they can help themselves and get to those snacks themselves. There's a well-known, I believe she's a dietitian, her name is Ellen Sater, and she has written a number of articles on feeding children and the responsibility of parents in feeding children. And the one thing I want to share with those who are watching and viewing is that one of her statements is parents provide, child decides. As parents, as caregivers, as grandparents, it is our responsibility to provide healthy, well-balanced foods for our child to eat. It is the child's decision how much of that food they're going to eat, when they're going to eat it, and what they find is if you trust in the child self-regulates and will you know, listen to themselves. You know, we've talked about that on the show several times where, You know, we as adults tend to eat too fast. We tend to not pay attention to our body cues. Children do. They pay attention. And when they're done, they do stop eating. So offer the healthy choices. Let the child decide how much they're going to eat of that food.
Now, you offer healthy choices. Sometimes kids don't like what you're providing. They don't like broccoli. But you really shouldn't give up, but you shouldn't force them either.
Correct. Correct. The new thought is to not force a child to eat something, but to offer that. You might want to offer an alternative if they don't want to. You might want to encourage the child to taste it. One thing that I've learned is sometimes it's what you call it. So if you're serving broccoli and the kids are like, oh, I don't know that I like broccoli, and so then the adult takes a taste and says, wow, what a wonderful tree. This is a great little tree, green tree I'm eating, or this is superpower broccoli, or, you know, whatever you want to be. If you can identify something that the kid likes, or even talk to kids about what foods do for their body. You want to be strong and have strong muscles, then you need to eat your meat, because the meat is what gives us strong muscles. Kids like that. They like to hear that, and they're more likely to eat the foods than when you do that. So involve kids in the food preparation. That's another thing. When kids are involved in the gardening or in the food preparation, they're more likely to eat it, and they're more likely to like it. So limit screen time. Don't have them sitting in front of a screen so much. And so that goes along with, you know, it's not a good idea to put a child in front of a television to eat. It's a better idea to sit at the table and eat together. There's a lot of good resources available for parents who are struggling or who are having some challenges in feeding children. There's also a great resource I want to share with everyone for the very young child. It's called Just in Time Parenting. It's a free newsletter that's available electronically. So you have to go to the website and sign up, but then it's delivered to your email address at the age of your child. So let's say you have a new baby, and when the baby turns 1 month, you get a newsletter in your email from the Just in Time Parenting folks, who are human development specialists from various land-grant universities that have gone together to create this newsletter. And what's great about it is it's an easy read, but it tells you as the parent where your child is in development, what you as a parent can be doing to help that child in development, to encourage that child's development. So it's a great little handy tool, and it's free. And you can either go to our website, and we have a link there for Just-in-Time Parenting, or you can go to extension.org/parenting and register.
So it really comes through the extension offices of several states.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. Yeah, so it's a great resource, and it's a great resource to get you started on feeding your child right.
Okay, well, Jan, thank you very much for coming in, and make sure that you feed your child right. We've learned a lot from Jan Dougan, as we continue to learn a lot here on WJTS in.form. Jan is the extension educator at Purdue Extension here in Du Bois County. She can be called if you've got questions, or emailed. And by the way, all counties have extension educators who are glad to answer questions, and that's what you do.
That's right.
That's your job. All right, thank you for watching WJTS in.form. We are local people watching local people.